After 3 full weeks with eyes closely locked on the Franklin County Courthouse, the calls for justice for Casey Goodson Jr. remain unresolved.
After 3 days of deliberation, the judge hearing the case of the former Franklin County Sheriff's deputy declared a mistrial. Now we wait to hear if this case will be retried by the special prosecutor's office. Due to what unfolded today, we are bringing you team coverage with everyone who has been on this trial since the opening gavel.
NBC4's Anna Hoffman and Eric Halperin have been talking to both sides involved in this high-profile case. We're going to kick off our coverage with Anna Hoffman. Can only imagine the emotions out of that courtroom today, Anna.
Yeah, Jared, there was. When the jurors came back to the courtroom for the last time, you could see the emotion on their face from deliberating. They were not able to come to a unanimous decision on any of the 3 charges. That's why the judge declared a mistrial. That emotion was also seen on the face of Jason Meade, who looked disappointed as the judge made the announcement. The judge called this jury the hardest working jury he's ever had for dealing with such a complicated, emotionally charged case. That jury deliberated for 3 days, restarting 3 times as all 4 alternate jurors had to be subbed in. And this morning, the judge initially called a mistrial before reversing that decision. I had the chance to speak with defense attorney Mark Collins after all of this unfolded. He says he's proud of his team and the jury for their hard work.
We place jurors in impossible situations because they have to be clinicians. They can't use empathy and sympathy and that type of stuff. But, you know, the reality is they did the best that they could, and that's so justice was served today.
I asked Collins if he had any sort of message from Meade. He says Meade says he's thankful to the jury for approaching this with fairness and doing the best they could. He says when and if there is a retrial, his team will be ready. Local for you at the Franklin County Courthouse, I'm Anna Hoffman, NBC4.
All right, Anna, thank you. And Casey Goodson's family has also been at the courthouse every day of this trial. Family members did not speak with reporters, though, after today's decision. But their attorney did. NBC4's Eric Halperin joins us with what they had to say. Eric?
Jared and Jen, he says the family wants closure, and this means they still do not have it. It's up to the special prosecutors whether this gets retried or not. Sean Walton is hoping it does. Walton is the attorney for Casey Goodson Jr.'s mother, Tamala Payne. She walked out of the courtroom alongside family members after the mistrial was announced. The past few weeks have not been easy for them, but Walton says the family is ready to be back here if and when a retrial takes place. Walton said the family is thankful for the jury's service. He said they had to process years' worth of information in a relatively short amount of time. He also said several times the fact the jury could not come to an agreement means at least some of the jury felt Meade was guilty. This mistrial comes more than 3 years after Goodson was shot and killed.
It's a roller coaster, and it is a roller coaster of extremes that we can't imagine. I mean, starting on December 4th when this happened, you heard Casey's grandmother and her screams, you heard the family and what they experienced, and from that point it took a year to get an indictment, and here we are in 2024 and the trial is just now taking place and there's a hung jury, and so there's no closure for them.
Back in 2021, Walton and Goodson's family filed a civil suit against the county and Meade. It was put on hold until this case was resolved. Walton is now hoping it can move forward. Local for you, I'm Eric Halperin, NBC4.
Eric, thank you. As you'd imagine, there are now lingering questions about what will happen next in this case. So we are bringing in Colleen Marshall, anchor and our resident attorney. In your experience, what is each side now doing at this point?
Well, today they're reflecting because neither side got what they wanted. The prosecution wanted full guilt, and of course the defense wanted full acquittal. So what they will do now is step back, take a look. Did we do right? What did we do wrong? They did not get a chance. Some judges ask jurors, do you want to meet with the attorneys? Because now these attorneys want to know. There's a big difference if the split was 11-1 or 1-11.
Right.
So if 11 people were all for acquittal, then the defense would know, we want this case to go back because we know we only have to convince an extra person. If it's the other way around, maybe we're talking about a plea deal. That would be a consideration. Also, we are in the middle of a year when there's going to be a new county prosecutor elected. So this was a special prosecutor. Would they reappoint the same prosecutor? Would this case go back to the same people? It's limbo for both sides right now.
Well, that sets up this question then. What about scheduling? Because all of those things taken into consideration, you know how difficult it is to get things scheduled in a courtroom. What happens now? Especially with this case. Because let's just take a look at the defense side. You had two attorneys, Steve Nolder and Mark Collins, successful attorneys, busy attorneys. And so they've got to, I would not be surprised if through hearings and trials, Mark Collins is scheduled for the next several months. Same thing on the prosecution side. You have a couple of attorneys. So what will happen is the judge will call everyone back together and find out from the state, are you going to refile these charges? Are you going to take this back to court? And if you are, who's going to try the case? And let's get everybody's calendar out and figure out when we can move forward. And of course, he has a right to a speedy trial. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next month or so.
It certainly is. All right, Colleen, thank you so much. And of course, we will continue to follow that.